Hello students, today we are going to discuss Faraday devices, the properties of the ferrite materials and some of the ferrite devices which are used in microwaves such as circulator, isolator and gyrators. Now first of all we are going to study what are ferrite materials. Now these ferrite devices or the materials are non-magnetic materials with resistivities nearly 10 to the power 14 times greater than metals and with dielectric constant around 10 to 15 and relative permeability of order 1000. These are having magnetic properties similar to those of ferrous metals, and also these ferrite materials are basically oxides based compound. Now when two circularly polarized wave, one rotating clockwise and other anti-clockwise, are made to propagate through ferrite, the material react differently to the two different rotating fields, thereby presenting different effective permeabilities to both the waves. That is ER, mu r, rho for left circularly polarized waves and ER2, mu r2 and rho2 for the right circularly polarized waves. Now what is Faraday rotation in farads? Consider infinite lossless medium. Suppose we assume this is a lossless medium and a static field B naught is applied along z direction. We are applying a static field B naught along z direction. A plane transverse electromagnetic wave that is linearly polarized along the x-axis, this is x-axis, at t equals to 0 here, is made to propagate through ferrite in z direction, in this direction. The plane of polarization of this wave will rotate with distance. As this wave moves away from this, the plane of polarization rotates. This is Faraday rotation phenomena. Any linearly polarized wave can be regarded as vector sum of two counter rotating circularly polarized waves. Ferrite materials offer different characteristics to these waves, with the result that the phase change for one wave is larger than other wave, resulting in rotation theta of the linearly polarized wave at z equals to L. Now we see rotation of 100 degree or more per centimeter of ferrite length is typically for ferrites at frequency of 10 gigahertz. Also, if the direction of propagation is reversed, the plane of polarization continues to rotate in the same direction. Z for z equals to L to z equals to 0. The wave will arrive back at z equals to 0 polarized at an angle twice of theta relative to the x-axis, and the angle of rotation can be given by this equation, where the L here is the length of the ferrite and beta positive can be regarded as the phase shift for right circularly polarized component in clockwise direction wave with respect to some reference, and beta negative phase shift for the left circularly polarized component in anticlockwise direction wave with respect to the same reference. Now in practical ferrite medium, finite losses will be there, and propagation constant for circularly polarized wave will have unequal attenuation constant and unequal phase constant. Due to this, the direction of Faraday rotation will be different in the two regions above and below the resonating frequency, which is omega naught. This can be seen from this. This is the L length, this is port number 1, this is port number 2. Wave from 1 to 2, rotation is anticlockwise, and same wave from 2 to 1, same rotation in anticlockwise. Hence we see that direction of rotation of linearly polarized wave is independent of direction of propagation of the wave. It means, suppose I say this is port number 1 and this is port number 2. If I say wave is incidented from port number 1 to port number 2 and it is going to rotating in anticlockwise direction, then if the same wave is transmitted from port number 2 towards port number 1, then irrespective of the direction of propagation, the wave is again rotate in anticlockwise direction. So either we use port number 1 as an input port and or port number 2 as input port. Irrespective of the direction of propagation, the wave will rotate anticlockwise. So this is very important property which can be utilized in various microwave components which we are going to use in microwaves. So first microwave component is isolator. Now isolator is a two-port device which provides very small amount of attenuation from transmission from port 1 to 2, but provide maximum attenuation for transmission from port number 2 to port number 1. This requirement is very much desirable when we want to match a source with a variable load. As we see from this isolator, this is isolator which is a ferrite device, and this is two port device. At port number 1 we are connecting the microwave source, and at port number 2 we are connecting the load. Now we see the wave is going in this forward direction from source through isolator to the load, but if there are any reflection which are coming from the load, they are moving in this direction from load to isolator to source. So here we see, because of the property of this isolator, the reflected signal or the reflection will not able to reach to the microwave source because of isolator. So we can say this isolator is playing a role of unidirectional device. Power can enter from port number 1 to port number 2, but no power can come from port number 2 to port number 1. This is something isolation. This is utilized in most of the microwave generator. The output amplitude and frequency tends to fluctuate very significantly with changes in load impedances. This is due to mismatch of generator output to the load, resulting in reflected wave from the load. But these reflected waves should not be allowed to reach to the microwave generator, which will cause amplitude and frequency instabilities of the microwave generator. When isolated is inserted between the generator and the load, the generator is coupled to the load with zero attenuation, and reflection, if any, from the load side are completely absorbed by the isolator without affecting the generator output. Hence, the generator appears to be matched for all loads in the presence of isolator, so that there is no change in frequency and output power due to variation in load. So how this isolator is going to work? This can be seen from the construction of this isolator. Now here we see the construction of isolator is similar to gyrator, which we will discuss later on, except that an isolator make use of 45-degree twisted rectangular waveguide instead of 90-degree twist and 45-degree Faraday rotation. Now if we see, this is the structure of an isolator. This is, suppose I say this is port number 1 and this is port number 2. Now here this is the incident wave, which is TE10 mode, which is dominant mode for a rectangle waveguide. These are the resistive cards placed at the input side, and this is the physical twist, which is 45-degree twist, and there is another twist. This is ferrite rod, and this is again providing a twist rotation of 45-degree. Now we see that in case of isolator, the wave is going to travel from this side to this side, but no output is received if incoming is given at port number 2 and output is seen at port number 1. This can be seen from these diagrams. Now this is showing you the forward journey of the wave, that is from port number 1 to port number 2. Now here we see we are having, this is, we know the electrical component E, T10. Now this is at the entry of port number 1. There is no change in the phase, still it is T0, and at this twist, because this is anti-clockwise twist, it is twisted to 45-degree anti-clockwise. This can be seen. Actual position was this, but after this twist the direction becomes 45-degree anti-clockwise due to twist in waveguide. Now after this, it is again passing through this ferrite rod, which is having 45-degree clockwise rotation. So initially it was 45-degree anti-clockwise rotated, and now it is going to pass through ferrite rod, which is 45-degree clockwise rotated. So the output will be same as that of input. There will be no change in the output. Now if we see the journey, backward journey, or we can say if we put input at port number 2 and want to know what will be the output at port number 1, means we start incidenting our wave from this side and want to know what will be the output here. So in this case we start our journey from this side and we assume this is the input. Now this will initially it will pass through 45-degree clockwise direction. So this at the output of this ferrite rod, it will be 45-degree clockwise. Now because this is ferrite rod, that is why irrespective of the direction of propagation, it will provide 45-degree clockwise rotation only, whether the incident is from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1. So this wave is 45-degree clockwise rotated by the ferrite device due to Faraday rotation. Now this 45-degree clockwise rotated wave is now going to pass through twist. Now in its forward journey, it was providing a twist, 45-degree twist in anti-clockwise direction, but now because the direction of propagation is opposite, so this twist will provide rotation in clockwise direction. So 45-degree twist will be provided by this twist. So in total 45-degree clockwise rotation by the ferrite rod and 45-degree clockwise rotation by the twist. So in total now the wave is 90-degree rotated in comparison to input and the output from the twist somewhere here, 45-degree due to this 45-degree rotation will be given by this ferrite rod, and that rotation will be clockwise, and 45-degree clockwise rotation by this. So in total 45 plus 45, 90-degree rotation to the wave somewhere here. Now we see there are resistive guards. Now there is a specific property of resistive guards. These are the resistive guards. Resistive guards does not absorb any wave whose plane of polarization is perpendicular to its own plane. That is why when these waves are traveling from port number 1 to 2, because their plane of polarization is perpendicular to this, so there was no absorption of wave by this resistive guards. But now in present case, because the wave is now 90-degree rotated and clockwise, now this wave 45-degree plus 45-degree, this is somehow 90-degree shift, and this 90-degree shift is now parallel to these resistive guards. So these resistive guards are to absorb any wave whose plane of polarization is parallel to the plane of resistive guards. Now because of this 45 plus 45, 90-degree shift in the plane of polarization, now these reflected waves or the incident wave which are coming from port number 2 towards port number 1 are 90-degree shifted, and now they are in parallel to the polarization of these resistive guards. So all these waves are absorbed by these resistive guards. So this will result in zero output at the port number 1. This is shown P equals to 0 at port number 1. So finally we can say in isolator, if we have any input, that is Pi, from port number 1 towards port number 2, the output will be same as that of input. There will be no change in plane of polarization. But if there is any input corresponding to port number 2 which are coming towards port number 1, then we will see there will be zero output corresponding to port number 1. It means if we use, as seen in the figure, this isolator, if we see, if there is a forward journey of the wave from 1 to 2, then this isolator will provide no resistance, no obstacle to the wave. But if the same wave is coming in form of reflections from load to source, then it will totally absorb the signal and no signal power is going to reach toward the source. This is how our isolator works. Next is circulator. Again, here we are considering the 4-port circulator. It may be 3-port, it may be multiple port, but for our study we have considered a 4-port circulator. Now these are the 4 ports, port number 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4-port microwave device. Each terminal is connected to only to the next clockwise terminal. And if 1 is connected to 2 only, 2 is connected to 3 only, 3 is connected to 4 only, and 4 is connected to 1. Means if we are using port number 1 as microwave source, then our output can be seen only at port number 2, that is next port in clockwise direction. No output will be corresponding to port number 3 and 4. And similarly, if we assume port number 2 as an input, then we will get output corresponding to port 3 only, no output corresponding to 4 and 1. Similarly, if I assume I have connected my microwave source at port number 3, then I will get output corresponding to port number 4 only and no output corresponding to 1 and 2. That is why we say this as a circulator. Now we can see how this happens. Now this is the construction view of the circulator. Here we see this is port number 1, this is port number 3, this is port number 4, this is port number 2. There is a ferrite rod having theta equals to 45 degree. By construction wise it looks little bit complex in nature, but when we see the working of this, it will look little bit easier. Now when we consider a circulator and the working of this, we see a 4-port Faraday rotation circulator is shown in our figure. The power entering port number 1, this is port number 1, is TE10 mode and is converted to TE11 mode. This is T entering power is TE10. This is the dominant mode for rectangular waveguide. This is being converted to TE11 mode because of gradual rectangular to circular transition. Here we are going to see rectangular to circular transition is there, and because of this TE10 is converted into TE11 mode. Thus power passes port number 3. This power is going to pass this port 3 unaffectedly, since the electric field is not significantly cut. And is rotated through 45 degree due to ferrite. Because of this ferrite, it is going to be 45 degree rotated. Passes port number 4, this is port number 4, passes this unaffectedly for the same reason as it passes port number 3, and finally emerges out of port number 2. This is port number 2. Now power from port number 2, this port number 2 will have plane of polarization already tilted by 45 degree with respect to port number 1. This port and this port will have a shift of 45 degree. So power from port 2 will have plane of polarization already tilted by 45 degree. So this power passes out from here. This power passes port 4 unaffectedly because again the electric field is not significantly cut. This will pass this also because at port number 4 the electric field is not significantly cut. This wave gets rotated by another 45 degree due to ferrite rod in the clockwise direction, because this direction it is again 45 degree clockwise rotated. Now totally it is 90 degree rotated. Thus wave gets rotated by another 45 degree due to ferrite rod in clockwise direction. This power, whose plane of polarization is tilted through 90 degree, finds port number 3, this is port number 3, suitably aligned and emerges out of port number 3. Similarly, port number 3, this port number 3 is coupled only to port number 4. This is coupled to port number 4 because now from this the port number 4, because now the power is going from this port towards port number 4. So it is again going to pass this ferrite rod which is 45 degree rotated, and thus it passes to port number 4 and it emerges out from port number 4, and from port number 4 the wave is going to pass again from this theta 45 degree clockwise, and the wave emerges out from port number 1. So this is how this circulator is going to work. Now we are going to see the various applications which are related with the circulator. Now the circulator can be used as a duplexer for the radar. Now here we see कि at this port number where we have connected the radar transmitter, at port number 2 we have connected antenna, and at port number 3 we have connected receiver, and at port number 4 we have connected match termination. Now transmitter feed the antenna while received signal energy is directed to receiver. Now this transmitter is going to feed this antenna because output from one can only go in clockwise direction and can be taken as output from the immediate next port, that is port number 2. So any input from this side will go toward this port number 2 where antenna is connected, and received energy is directed to the receiver. Now any energy which is received by this antenna will be transmitted to the receiver only. Here is the receiver. So this is how same antenna for transmission and reception and powerful radar transmitter is isolated from the sensitive receiver. So by using this circulator we are going to isolate the transmitter, radar and received energy or the radar receiver. So we can isolate the high power transmitted signal with comparatively very low input signal which is going to be received by this antenna. So we can easily isolate transmitter with the receiver. Next we have 2-3 port circulator. 2-3 port circulator can be used as a tunnel diode or the parametric amplifier. Here we are going to see we are connecting two circulator. This is first circulator, this is another circulator, this is input, and here we are connecting the tunnel diode, and here we are taking the output. So with the help of 2-3 port circulator we are using 2-3 port circulator. This is one circulator with 3 port, 1, 2 and 3, and similarly this is another circulator which are having 3 ports, 1, 2 and 3, and we are going to connect these ports. So this configuration can be used in tunnel diode or parametric amplifier. Another circulator can be used as low power devices as they can handle low powers only. So this is for today's lecture, in which we have studied isolator, circulator and properties of ferrite devices. In the end I will tell you a little bit about gyrator also, because I have used the term gyrator while describing the isolator. So gyrator is also a 2-port device that has relatively phase difference of 180 degree for transmission from port 1 to 2 and no phase shift or 0 phase shift from transmission from port 2 to port number 1. So this is the you can say the property of gyrator, and this is all about for today's lecture. Thank you very much.